Hey everyone, welcome back. We're back again. My good buddy Alexander and I are here to talk some more about super awesome stuff. So, if you heard, we've chatted about it a little bit, but we're in the process of really launching this super awesome show. And so, this is kind of we're ready, fire, aim right now. We're just throwing it out there, and we'll make adjustments as they go. But
Exactly.
no matter what, it's always a great time with the two of us together. So, Alexander,
It
glad
is.
you're back, man. And it looked like you had such an amazing time in Arizona. I mean,
Yeah.
everything I saw about the Ultimate Experience was phenomenal. And then you got the pleasure of sitting with the man, Steve Hardison.
Yes. Yes. And it was such an extraordinary experience. Well, I will not share too much about the experience today, but give several things away. Happy to give them away because we have limited time today, so we're not going like for 4 hours live. I could
Right?
literally tell you just the session with Steve alone. I could talk about it for a whole day. It would not be enough.
Yep.
And I'm still unpacking. It
Oh wow.
was
Yeah, of course.
essentially like 3.5 B with sessions within the usual time frame, plus some
Nice.
extras here and there, plus a bit with Amy that was after that I'm super lucky and super blessed to have. And by the way, I just came from a walk in the forest with my daughter,
Nice. Very nice.
and just like literally came out of the shower, changed this, but my glasses are all foggy, so we're super prepared. We're like super raw and unedited as always, right, Tony?
Right, of course. Of course. Every time is on time. And it's fun. So today it's for those out there watching, that Anik and I have been together for a long time. Well, today it's not technically our anniversary, but today is 22 years of our first date. So our first date was 22 years ago today. So that's kind of a fun fact for Anika and I. So that's, and of course she's out buying more plants right now.
You said 20, just to clarify, 20. Right? 20. Is that what you
Yes.
said? That was the number.
22, yeah.
Fun thing. Oh, 22.
Yeah,
So
22.
that's 2 years more we're going to have this year. My wonderful wife and I.
Awesome.
We will have 20 this year in
so
September.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
great.
yeah, the trip was absolutely amazing. And one thing to give away, huge thing. If you just take away this, I think this live stream or video or podcast, you can catch us everywhere soon.
Yeah. Yes, everywhere.
If you want to take away this, now I want to invite you to really listen. Everybody said, "Hey, you went to US from Europe. How's your jet lag? How is the recovery?" I didn't need any recovery because I had zero jet lag, and it was created deliberately, consciously created in a way. Zero jet lag and the best freaking trip of my life so far.
Nice.
And this is exactly what was my experience. And is it that simple? Yes, that's that simple.
It is.
And sometimes we can stand in our own way of this and think, is it really possible? I don't believe it's possible. The minute you don't believe it's possible, all the magic is gone. So it is super easy to destroy this miraculous stuff. So something we think is in terms of impossible to create or to have as an experience, then it is impossible for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it was literally, yes, I had a couple of thoughts like, okay, what systems can support me on my way? I kept on my way to US. I decided no sleep, and I'm still switching to schedule US time as soon as possible. If I have here and there a couple of tiny little micro sleep moments, that's all right. I'm not fighting my body. I'm accepting it, but no huge sleep on my flight. I'm going with the flow with the time when I'm there, and I'm going to bed at normal time there, as if it is my normal time. And guess what? Zero jet lag.
Yeah.
So the conference, the Ultimate Experience Arizona, absolutely shout out to Eric, to Judy Thurston, to everybody on the team who did a marvelous job, an incredible job of this conference, and it is all volunteered. All the money that's left, everybody paid for the ticket. Every single speaker on stage paid their own ticket. Nobody sold you anything at all at this conference. I mean, how often do you have experiences like this?
Right.
And all volunteer work and all go to charity. And if you want to figure out more about it, just go Google it or ask us for a link.
Right.
And there will be, in a year, it will be the next one. And if you want to get your ticket already, I think it's a little bit less in terms of price.
Right.
So you're able to grab even your VIP tickets for less money if you wish. And I can highly recommend this because this is my second ultimate experience already. The first one was in Birmingham. Shout out to everybody who created the experience in Birmingham. That was up until then just the most incredible experience of my life. And now, since then, I'm different and I know people more.
Yeah.
And I'm connected to people in different ways. So this one was different, and they both are just absolutely life changing. And I'm not exaggerating even by a little when I'm telling you this. This is all, I mean every single word I say.
Yeah.
So there are so much stuff on the I could go live for a year every day. It would not be enough to share all the insights from the conference. And
Right.
similar
Right.
stuff I could share like for a couple of years just to be with Steve.
Well, and it was Anik and I were seeing the memories pop up because I didn't realize that this ultimate experience was literally on the anniversary of the first one, which was 2 years earlier. And so while you guys were there, it may have been day 2 was the anniversary, but while you guys were there, Anik and I, our memories are popping up on our phones and on Facebook about when we were there for the first one. And it was like, oh man, we miss all these people. And it just, a lot of the same people were there. A lot of the people that were sitting with us in the crowd were now on stage. I mean, it was just so much, even the bits and pieces that I've seen from people who have shared and some of the videos that I've seen and some of the pictures is like, wow, it just looks super powerful. And the fact that this is one thing I love because I was already working on something before I saw the agenda for the ultimate experience. I absolutely love that every single speaker was the power of something because everything that everyone talked about is a superpower when you use it that way in your life. Yep. Nice.
Yeah. We can just go quickly through them if people are interested. What was that all about?
Yeah.
Power of deep listening.
Mm-hmm.
Many people can, me included, big time included, could benefit from better listening. It's like it's a mountain without the top. The better you listen, the better is everything. The better are your relationships. If you're for example, if you have a business and you create revenue for your business, the better you listen, the better the revenue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can listen from different places. Let's say different place from judgment or place of I might believe you. Where's the cash and all sorts, all the jazz, or you can listen from, wow, I'm so curious. Oh, I can learn something about something cool, or about this person, or about life, or about myself. Or you could listen from the place of care, kindness, right? Or deep unconditional love. How about that? Power of acknowledgement. That was by Ankush Jain.
Yeah.
Well, I deeply, hey Ankush, shout out to you. It was awesome to see you. Ankush, to be my integrity, is my coach and mentor, one of my coaches and mentors who I deeply love.
And amazing.
We call him. He is
amazing at acknowledgement. He is phenomenal at acknowledging. I'm glad he was speaking on that.
Yeah, and I know so much from Kush about acknowledgements, and wow, people just want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. They want to belong. They want to, not to be treated as objects.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it is people in your business, if it's your business partners, your maybe suppliers, if it is your investor, your wife, your spouse. This is a deeply rooted desire of ours, human beings, to be acknowledged, and it can be as a way of doing. So I just have to say something nice, but you don't really mean that, and people feel it. And that's what I sometimes share with my clients when we speak. It can be coaching, can be a mentor, it can be something else, and I share with them, hey, if you just tell for the sake of telling and it's not genuine, you don't mean that, just better don't, because they will feel it. It will have the opposite effect of what you're actually achieving or want to create.
Yeah, it's got to be
genuine acknowledgement.
It's got to be authentic. If it's not authentic, the other person knows. And it's any conversation, whether it's an acknowledgement or not, people know when you're not being real, and it's real easy to recognize.
Yeah. And I think there is a big misconception about, I got to wear a mask, I got to hide certain parts of myself. Well, there is certain logic to this. ideas, and it can only go that way, only
Mhm.
go that far. But if you are able to acknowledge somebody really from the bottom of your heart, they will
Right.
remember, but they will not maybe remember exactly the words you said. Maybe they will. And chances are they will remember this little conversation, if it's just a few minutes, a couple of sentences. They will remember it for the rest of their lives. And I'm speaking from my own experience.
Mhm.
So this is a super duper powerful stuff, because you can, with acknowledgement, you can also invite people to grow in ways that they thought are not possible for them.
Right.
Yeah, and things like the power of the next generation, super cool stuff. Yeah, what people who will be the next, guys who will take over on the,
Right.
or who are taking over step by step already, how they see it, what they want, what they need. Do they need like to be taught, talked at? Do they
Mhm.
need to be listened, accepted, acknowledged?
Yeah.
Which connects to other things, and some panel discussions. Power of family healing.
Mm.
Family healing is available for everybody.
Mhm.
Or Power of One Breath by Wolfgang Steiner, who was our guest last time. Wolfgang, shout out to you if you watch this, and shout out to everybody who made it live last time. If you want to watch this one, I highly recommend to watch the previous one.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
the power of breathing, conscious breathing saved my life. And so it goes, like the power of purpose. Without the purpose, it's like, why are you doing all this? Why are you staying up? Like, why are you awake every morning? Like, what's your North Star, really? And do you mean that, by the way, right?
Right. Right.
The power of the mind with Dr. Bill Petit, who I really, really love to see in our show. I think we can make this happen without promising you 100%, but we're on it. He is just incredible. He is incredible. His wife is absolutely mind-blowing. Linda, Petit, they're both just power couple. Absolute power couple. Power of creation. How do we create?
Mm.
The power of meditation, which is also connected to consciousness and breathing and other things. There are a number of ways. A power of presence for every leader, every executive, every parent, by the way. Everybody who is in any sort of relationship. What's your presence? How to create your presence? A power of parenting, which is tightly connected to leadership. As last time, for me, it is connected. Power of freedom. What is the real freedom?
Mhm.
What is freedom for you? Power of forgiveness. Super underrated stuff.
Yes.
Super underrated stuff, because forgiveness gives you the space to heal inside and be the best self, be a better self, even if it's like 1%.
Right. And that's
1%.
that's one that hits me as hard or harder than most of them, because what people don't realize, and I hope when you're those of you listening out there right now, is when we talk about the power of forgiveness, the biggest person you should be forgiving is yourself. Don't get me wrong, there's other people around you that probably deserve your forgiveness as well, but we tend to be our own worst enemies as people in general, as human beings. We kick our own asses. And it was actually our buddy Kush that called me out on it for myself. I was going through, I was having a pity party. I was throwing the victim card all left and right. And he listened to me, and he wasn't buying into it, obviously. And at the end, he's like, will you stop kicking your own ass? He's like, forgive yourself. And
Yeah.
this is several months ago. And since then I've owned that power of forgiveness, not only with myself, but the people around me. And that's a game changer. When you learn to utilize that, it is a big time game changer.
It is. Absolutely. And you cannot even imagine how big this is unless you experience it. And I've been practicing this stuff for a couple of years already, actually. The biggest insights came through the work with the absolutely incredible Carolyn Fryer Jones, known as CFJ. Shout out to her. And oh yeah, absolutely true. Wonderful comments popping in here. I learned that from her, and she learned that in the USM, her years and years and years in USM, University of Santa Monica, that used to offer programs by the way, masters of spiritual psychology. It's like real master, not legit stuff. Not like, oh, I used to think about that stuff. Oh, it's woo-woo. It's like, ugh. And no, this stuff works no matter how you call it. If you allow it to work, if you open enough, if you open yourself 0.5%, I don't even ask that wide open, but just tiny little bit, you will experience the effects.
Right.
So she learned that from Ron and Mary Halnick and from other people in the University of Santa Monica, and I benefited hugely, immensely from her way of being, who she is, her service, her school. Shout out to her, shout out to the school. And it became my way of being. And I noticed the effects immediately. It's like something is changed in how you feel your body. And it's not like once and done. You do it once, you do a session, it's gone. It is actually a practice, right? It's like going to gym, brushing your teeth, but you can do it more frequently.
Right.
Here's another big one. You don't have to like limit yourself on this. If you notice judgment, upset, finger pointing, blaming, being a victim, all that, you can ask yourself, okay, what's the judgment?
Right. Right.
Who am I judging for? Who am I judging myself as? And everything in between, like somebody else, you, and everything in between, like life, government, politics, economy, whatever you call it. A traffic jam. What's your favorite reaction to traffic jam up so far? Are you cursing a lot, or are you blessing everybody left and right?
I used to curse all the time, but it was actually Kellen Flugiger. So Kellen, if you're watching this, Kellen, thank you for that. It was during a session with him where he actually asked me same thing. How's my reaction in traffic? And I'm like, oh, I get so frustrated with drivers, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, all right, here's what I want you to do. He's like, from here on out, I want you to pour love through every other driver and vehicle in the car. Let it flow through you to every other car, every other driver, especially the ones that would normally irritate you. And when I'm consciously doing that, I don't feel anything. I feel nothing but love. It's like,
yeah.
So what? It's a traffic jam. I hope everyone's all right. Here, I'm just gonna pour love on people. So that was a game changer for me as well. And that was about a year ago.
That's huge. And you can say something to people. You can say nice stuff like, hey, I like the color of your car, or whatever, right? Or you just do it silently.
Yeah.
And it is one of the most powerful practices besides forgiveness or self-forgiveness.
Right.
And some people call it a blessing. And I think the blessings, the practice of the blessing is actually the most powerful way to acknowledge someone.
Yeah.
And we can dive there one time deeper because it's a big conversation. Yeah. How have you been? What's the news from your side, Tony? Maybe you want to share something.
Well, just been getting a lot clearer. I was like, you and I've talked about this before, and some of you out there know I gotta be a little discreet because of some of the people that follow me. But there's been some opportunities that presented themselves recently, and again, I got to be a little discreet because we're live. So some of those are still developing. However, I had kind of let my coaching stuff slide a little bit. And I'm not beating myself up. I've already forgiven myself for it. However, I got real clear. And this is what in my voice message I left you, where I said some things have happened in the last couple of weeks where I got real clear. I got real clear in what am I doing? It's back to what we had with Chris Doris. Why not now? And so I was thinking, okay, I'm once I get on to this next opportunity, then I'll have time to do this, or I'll do this. And then I'm like, why not now? When we talked about that, I was just like, it was like a virtual slap in the face. And in a good way, just kind of a wake up snap. And so literally over the last few days, I have gotten clearer and clearer and clearer on who I'm serving, how I'm serving, where can I serve, where can I ask, what can I do to create the things. Forget about this other opportunity. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. This is still what I love to do, serve people. So when you asked about that, that's where I've been getting crystal clear on how I can best serve people. And one of them is what we're doing right here. I love this. I love that we are serving people with this each and every time we hop on.
Yeah.
And as we
That's the
bring, yeah,
intent. That's the goal.
yeah. So we say that here too, Hugh, in Florida. We say it too. But they're not all from Canada. There's some from Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Yeah. Just if you're listening to a podcast and Tony is commenting on one of the comments that popped up on the screen right now, do you remember what it was?
Yeah,
I'm
it was.
teasing you.
Yeah, it was in Yuma. We say they're Canadian snowbirds. So for those of you listening, when you live in a place like Florida or Arizona, a lot of times people who have really, really cold and snowy winters in the north, either North United States or in Canada, they'll drive all the way down to where it's warmer here. They'll spend the winters here and then go back for the summertime. So their nickname is snowbirds. They fly south for the winter. They fly south when it snows. so that's what he was referring to, and I was agreeing with him. But anyway, so getting crystal clear, and part of that's also been cleaning things up for me mentally and here at home. Like we were supposed to talk with Safa yesterday, and when we didn't come to an agreement Friday, I went ahead and made plans with my wife because there's things that I want to be in. I want to make sure and fulfill my agreements and commitments with her. We take for granted sometimes that's somebody who we live with each and every day.
Can I stop you right there before we step over a huge gold chunk?
Yeah.
And I acknowledge you for being open and being ready to give me a chance, because I think this all starts with you and with your significant other.
Mm-hmm.
This is also, by the way, one of the many takeaways from both the conference and the session with Steve Hardison. This is really starts with you, and this really starts with your significant other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want, let's say some of you maybe want to create something incredibly awesome in your life, or in business, or in whatever area you want to create it, right?
Right.
But some of us, and by this I mean me, sometimes in the past, I thought you can create it's over there, but this you can ignore. And sorry, this is not really how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So your relationship with significant others or somebody else in your life, or close, your kids, this all can be extremely relevant to whatever you're creating. And especially your relationship with self. And one of my biggest takeaways from the other conference in Birmingham, UK last year, and this is from Gary Mala, shout out to Gary, who was together with Raghav on stage, and they spoke about the power of cleaning up. And as far as I understand it, this is my understanding of it, not the truth, just my understanding. I see if you can see gold for yourself here, hear gold for yourself. It is about cleaning inside and then the outside. Let's say if I'm angry, if I'm pissed off, I'm aggressive, I'm this, I'm that. What will I create with my doing? I will create more of that, right?
Yep.
No matter how good my rhetorical skills are, no matter how much of a charmer I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will only create this.
Right.
I will multiply whatever I have in my heart. And if I want to create something awesome or super awesome, guess how I gonna be? Who do I need to be as a human being in this moment to create something super awesome? I want to feel super awesome inside. I want to feel maybe light, maybe joy, maybe enthusiasm, maybe openness, maybe be in the flow state, which is also a state of being, a wonderful state to create. Every peak performer out there knows what it is from the experience. They have systems in place to create this state reliably, especially in high pressure situations.
Mm-hmm.
So this all starts with who you are and with people who are the closest to you, especially your spouses, especially your exes, especially your parents, your kids, and so on, your neighbors.
No, you're right. And so I'm writing my next newsletter right now, and I'm using some of the mantras from Chris Dorris's book, the Book of Mental Toughness Mantras, and it's the one it's literally on this other screen and speaks out to me, is that the outer world is a reflection of our inner world.
Yes.
And that inner world is all, and so that outer world also includes our spouses, our children, our exes, whatever that is, our bosses, our coworkers, because whatever we're reflecting inside is what we're pouring out to those people. And so when you talk about cleaning up, and obviously I wasn't there to hear the talk with those two, but cleaning up your inside will help clean up that outside. And that includes the relationships with those folks we've been talking about. So I love how when you focus on yourself, you can, or clean up with yourself, can you really serve the best with the people around you?
And when you're clean inside, you can have a conversation with the person, say, hey, I screwed up. It's on me. I take full responsibility and ownership.
Yeah.
This is on me. This is, by the way, also leadership, if you ask me. You can say something like, hey, how can I make this up? Like, what can I do to make it right? And if you truly mean that, and if you come from a place of compassion, right? Being humble and owning this stuff, truly, not like, hey, I'm sorry, but really on the inside, you go like, go yourself.
Yeah.
Right? This will not, like, people will feel it.
Yeah.
You cannot have the power, like poker face that works, I think is a big legend.
Yeah.
It can work for some time, for some people, no, not over time with all the people.
Right.
You're just not able to, you will not be able to and by the way, this thing, right, the outer world is the reflection of the inner world. It connects super nice with one of my biggest takeaways from the Be With session with Steve Hardison, which was about the law of being, like who you are as a human being. Like this stuff is the seed. Who you are internally is the seed. Let's say if you are an a-hole inside, what action will you take? What will you create? More of the a-hole out on the outer world. It will be a reflection of your inner world. And what creates the inside stuff? What do you think, Tony? What creates the inside stuff? Who you are as a human?
Well, it depends on what you allow in. For most people, so what creates it for you and I is different than what creates it for most people. So, do you asking for me specifically, or for the majority of people?
Let's speak for the majority of people. Let's go first there, and then
the majority of people allow dump trucks of garbage to pull up next to their ears and pour it into their heads. You know, it's most people let the outer world affect their inner world. The things around us, the mainstream media, the colleagues, the coworkers, there's just negative being bombarded.
Or the traffic jam, for that matter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We're just getting bombarded day in and day out. So it's up to us as individuals to choose whether, one, that's what we're going to receive, and two, if that's where we're going to put the position we're going to put ourselves in. You know, I'm sure, I don't know if you're the same way as me, but I am actively, my wife and son and I are actively avoiding negative situations. Now, I mean, granted, there's always going to be some. However, when they are, we have the opportunity to use that, or let it affect us, or use that. And we choose to use that.
How can we grow from that? Learn from that. You can learn and grow from everything. Yeah. Which also connects nicely to like the place where it happened. It happened around Phoenix, not so far away from Phoenix, which is a beautiful metaphor, has been a beautiful metaphor for certain times in my life when it felt like everything's burning down to ashes. Mm-hmm. And the Phoenix is able to raise from ashes and be stronger, more powerful, and more awesome than ever. And what a beautiful metaphor is that?
Yes.
Right? So you can literally learn and grow from whatever happens in your life. And people who spoke on stage are not the freedom to share sensitive details, but they shared very, very personal stories. Maybe videos will be released at one point. Okay. By the way, if you want some videos from the other conference in Birmingham, reach out, send us a private message, or send me a private message. Happy to share a couple of links. But people experience sexual abuse. They experienced other things in life who most of us would go like, holy shit, that's tough, right? They grew from that.
Right.
They didn't allow the things or those experiences to define who they are. They didn't allow those things or experiences to break them. Contrary, they became stronger, more human, more caring, more of the best you hope to see in people. Right? And how great is this? So this was about, like, the first part you spoke, Tony, was about how most people react, right? What's your way?
Oh, I already said it. I said that, we actively avoid negative situations, negative talk, negative people. And you can't always. And so when you do affect that, we always try to grab the gold out of the conversation, because even in a negative conversation, there is probably some gold there, and you help that person see that. So, for example, one of the people that I work with right now, I as a leader, this person could probably learn a lot, and as far as the relationship side of his leadership. And so I am consistently looking at how I can serve him from a full cup. How can I serve him from the overflow? And so I pick out the positive tidbits as much as I can and focus on those with him. And that's what we do actively as a family, is we look for the positive in every situation. It's like we talk about the power of acknowledgement. Well, the same thing happens for the power of positivity. You can have 99 out of 100 things be positive in your life, but humans in general focus
this
on
this one thing, or when people get like feedback from their bosses or investors or whatever, right? They get this one thing. That's what keeps them up at night sometimes, right?
Right, exactly. So let that thing go. So it's like I mentioned earlier, the mental toughness mantras that I'm writing in my newsletter. One of the other ones, which feeds great into this, that is in my newsletter right there, is I use history, but I do not permit history to use me.
Yeah, how powerful is that?
Oh, it's like you were talking
mind-blowing.
about. People have legitimate traumas in their past. So you can choose to live in the past or learn from the past and live today. I mean, there's no better time than this right here. You know, there's 2 days in your life that are impossible to do anything in. That was yesterday and tomorrow.
Yeah.
Today is the only day you can do anything.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
that's my
Amen. That's absolutely fantastic. And to add to this perspective, I'd love to say, as I shared about the law of being, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who I am creates the doing, and what creates who I am.
Yes.
It can be spoiler alert. Maybe we will touch it in one of the next episodes, but spoiler alert, it has all to do with conscious creation, which has a lot to do with the work that Tony does and I'm doing with our clients. It can be created consciously. Yeah. And that's just it is really simple. It is mind-blowingly great. Super awesome would be even another statement for this one.
Yeah.
Because all of that can be consciously created. Let's say the state of flow.
Yes.
Peak productivity, top performance, top relationship building capabilities from who you are. It all can be created.
Yes.
That's the power. And we have more of that lined up. We have awesome guests.
We are going to do so much more of this, guys. We are going to at least once a week, hopefully more than once a week. And we'll be dropping these. We'll be going live. And then these are going to get converted into actual podcast episodes. And once we have that set up, once we have the technical side set up, you'll get all the links available and we'll go from there. So guys, thank you so much for being here with us today for the super awesome show. Alexander, brother, I love you. I want to acknowledge
you all and love you.
I want to acknowledge you for the way you created yourself and your energy from traveling to and from the United States. You made the conscious decision to not be sleep deprived and to let yourself not be jet lagged and to have that energy each and every day you were there and getting back. That is a huge deal.
All conscious creation. I mean, I'm my number one client all the time.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Tony. Appreciate you.
We'll see you on the next show. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great
Stay tuned. Love you all. Be blessed. Bye-bye. Stay super awesome.